Remains were found just after 2 o'clock this afternoon. We'll take you live to the scene where Matt Young has the latest on this. Matt, what do we know so far?
Well, I can tell you that police have cordoned off quite a large area. I'm standing right here on the east end of Edelman Drive. The riverbank is just behind me, and you can see a police car. There are several police cars, in fact, and the yellow tape is right here. So we're right at the scene, which is actually quite large. It appears that they're combing through an area about 100 meters wide and obviously trying to look for clues to identify the individual, the human remains that were found here today. So how did we get to this point? Well, we can tell you that the remains were discovered by a passerby at around 2 o'clock this afternoon. He called police, and eventually they brought in major crimes and forensics investigators. Now, a spokesperson with the Saskatoon Police told me that it's not known quite yet whether or not the remains are of a male or a female, and they're also trying to determine the cause of death. But just minutes ago, we actually saw some investigators load up some picks and shovels into a van, as well as some bags. Now, what were in those bags, we can't tell you, but the picks and shovels may be a sign that they are doing some digging. A spokesperson from the Saskatoon Police also told me that officers and investigators are going to be on this scene for quite a while, so expect this story to play out throughout the evening. But at this point, we do know that human remains were discovered this afternoon here in the Silverwood area. This is right off the east end of Edelman Drive, the riverbank just behind me here, and we will bring you the latest on this developing story as details become available. Guys?
All right, Matt Young in the Silverwood Heights neighborhood tonight.
Tonight, we have a first-hand account of the collision from one of the drivers involved. Matt Young now with the horrifying details.
These pictures show a frightening scene where a massive fire engulfed two semi-trucks following a collision on Highway 16 at about 9 o'clock last night. One of the drivers involved was Irvin Manovich, who considers himself lucky to be alive.
Still in shock, but I'm getting over it.
Manovich says he parked his semi-truck at the side of the road off the westbound lane when he suddenly felt a jerking motion.
Didn't know what was going on. Happened to glance out my driver's window and seen a truck slide by me in a ball of flames.
Police say the back of his truck was clipped by another semi-truck traveling in the same direction, the impact sparking a blaze that burned so brightly it could be seen for kilometers. After two people helped pull the other driver out of his cab, Manovich attended to him until ambulances arrived.
Out of the way, tried to assist with the other driver as much as I could. Was making sure covered him up, try and keep him warm, try and keep him responsive.
Worried about an explosion from diesel tanks, he backed off while firefighters battled hard to fully extinguish the blaze. As night turned to morning, a trail of debris lay at the crash site, with some wreckage still smoldering.
I'm standing right here off the shoulder of the westbound lane on Highway 16, and as you can see behind me, some of the remnants of one of the semi-trucks that was involved with this collision is still burning. In fact, right behind me there, you can even see a few flames. Now, RCMP tell us that the semi-truck that was parked on the side of the road that was hit, it had some highly combustible materials inside of it, and the chief of the fire department that showed up last night, he spoke to us and he told us that one of the semi-trucks was packed with cardboard bales, which is why the fire was so large.
The driver who was pulled from the burning cab, a 38-year-old man from Ontario, was taken to hospital, as was a 33-year-old passenger with Manovich. Both suffered non-life-threatening injuries. As for Manovich himself, he escaped without injury, something he considers miraculous. He plans to be back on the road soon.
After New Year's, I'm back to work. I'm a guy that can't sit around, and I have to be on the go and keep myself busy.
All the while being thankful he was spared from tragedy. Matt Young, CTV News, near Radisson.